Hi, welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, would you like to share who our special guest today is?
It would be my pleasure, Orly. Well, listeners, I would like to introduce Jonathan Chalkley. Jonathan is our training services manager here at Cubica AMF, and we're really happy to have him on the show today. Hi, Jonathan.
Morning, Orly and Dottie.
Well, today our show is something that a lot of times we don't stop and think about. But as we are talking about delivering an outstanding guest service, one of the things that we have to be mindful of is we have to be equipping our employees with what they need to actually deliver that level of service. We've been talking a lot lately about delivering an outstanding service and really taking your level of customer service up a notch. And we've talked about different things that you can do, incorporating, automation and self-service kiosks and things along those lines. But one of the things that we're never going to get around is the human element that plays into a customer experience in bowling centers. And we want to make sure that we're equipping our staff members with what they need to deliver that level of service. And one of those things is for them to have the knowledge that they need, right? And Jonathan, knowledge is something that's your specialty, right? So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like and making sure that we're preparing our staff members with the knowledge they need to deliver the level of service that we want them to deliver.
Well, it starts with, when you get a new product in your bowling center, and Orly, I'm sure you know this, that comes with training. And one of the things we focus on is not just showing you how the product works, but showing you how it works in your business model and tying your business model to it. That way, if there's things that interest you within the software, we can focus on that. We can focus on your ability to master areas which you're going to be utilizing on a day in, day out basis with your customers as they walk through the door. We use a model that allows you guys as the customer of ours to be able to touch it, feel it as we're going along with the training process, so that it's not something you're just writing down a process and then forget about it later. You're actually doing it, you're committing it to memory, and then you'll be able to then pass that knowledge on to your staff after the training is over.
So Jonathan, as you said, with each product that comes out, there comes training. But there's a lot of bowling centers that have had products for a long time. And what I see so many times is when you get new employees in your center, they get, a lot of times they get on the job training, right? They shadow somebody that they're working with, and lo and behold, you need them to get up and running as quickly as possible. So you go on and put them on the schedule and you hope that they swim, right, and not sink. But that's really not fair to that employee. They have to have the confidence that they know how to handle a transaction. The worst thing under the sun is to look out and see a sea of customers waiting to be taken care of, and you're going to have to do a transaction, but you can't really remember exactly how to do it. That is nerve-wracking, right?
Absolutely.
And that creates anxiety for your employees, and it also creates turnover.
When I was much younger, I worked at a retail place, and, one of the managers quit, and they were like, we think you'd be a great manager. Would you like this position? And I was like, sure, I take it. And they kind of just figured, since I worked there already, I would know everything. And I didn't. And I kind of started to drown and would ask for help, and they wouldn't quite help me. And I ended up, it was unfortunate. I ended up stepping down from that position because I was like, I can't handle it, And it wasn't that that I couldn't do it or I wasn't a good worker. I was just never trained properly. Later down the line, I did take another position and was trained properly. And I was like, this is the easy job. When you don't have that. Yeah. And then it reflects on how they not necessarily treat a customer, but how, their experience with a customer is, if they're not, if somebody walks into your center and they're like, excuse me, how do you do this? And me as an employee was never trained. I'm like, I don't know. Let me see if I can figure out. Oh, there's nobody else here that knows how to do it. That's a bad look on you and your center. So you have
Yeah.
to. And again, it could cause somebody to quit their job, a high turnover. If they're like, I didn't really like it there. I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing. That all comes back to were they properly trained, and I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that stress that comes along with that is, in many cases, is what leads an employee to quit. And anytime we can take that stress off of that employee, the better off we are. We want to make their job fun. They're in the business to deliver fun, right? And we want to make sure that we are allowing them to have an enjoyable time with their job. And part of that comes through making sure that they are well trained, being able to navigate the system really without they're just kind of on autopilot. That's the level of comfort that our trainers leave the bowling centers with. They want them to know it forwards and backwards and not have to hesitate when they're delivering a closeout experience to a customer. And I think that stress that is removed by making sure that your staff is properly trained is crucial in your retention. And Jonathan, y'all deliver that in multiple ways. So the nice thing about it is when you guys leave a center with on-site training, there are other ways that bowling centers can reach out and get additional training, right? You've got all sorts of virtual classrooms and you've got classes that they can sign up for. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Yes, Dottie. So we have a variety of different things that the customers can utilize, resources that they can utilize after the fact, after we leave. Our online Q portal is filled with training, marketing, and technical resources, both in video and PDF formats. We also have virtual training. We host classroom sessions that customers, as long as they're active on their CMP, anyone in that center that any of their employees or managers are able to sign in and take those classes. We do them. We do about one a week. There's a variety of different topics, and then we also have e-learning that self-study, self-paced. They can do on their own. Customers, all they have to do is request to our Max Training Admin email, first name, last name, and email address of a couple people that they would like at their center to have access to it. And then we can enable them for that e-learning. And then they can go around and play with the system as if they were operating, but not really operating on the live system. And then last but not least, you have your trainer for support. Our business preferred customers have 2 hours a year that they can call in and talk to a trainer, and another 2 hours a year for the marketing specialist. The training one can be used with anybody. It doesn't have to be used with a manager or owner. It can be used by any of the center staff. If there's a topic that your staff is kind of struggling with, set up a call with your trainer or set up that 2 hour time for us to work with you on and your team on that virtually and remotely.
Absolutely. The other thing that plays into it, as I said, you want to reduce that anxiety from your staff member. You really want to empower that employee with everything that they need in order to deliver that level of service. So obviously communication with that employee is key. You want to make sure that employee is completely comfortable with operating of the system, but you also want to make sure that employee is knowledgeable on what your specials are, how, if a customer says, can you tell me about your birthday parties? They have the knowledge, or at least they know where to direct that person. And that is also key. And when you are empowering that employee with what they need and you're communicating to them what they need to know, their whole body language shows that. When you are confident and comfortable in your surroundings and your level of confidence in delivering that service to the customer, it shows. It shows. You are more relaxed, you're smiling, you're not stressed. We all show stress. When I'm stressed, people know I'm stressed, right? They can read me. They can see it on my face. And also that friendliness is just not there because they're stressing. So, that level of making the customer feel welcome and speaking to them casually and making them feel, welcome to the center. That's not prevalent because the customer is not comfortable. They're stressing about this customer is asking me to split the bill. Oh my gosh, I don't remember. And they're looking at me, oh my gosh. And then that anxiety sets in. And, that's what we're wanting to avoid. We're wanting to make sure that we are setting our employees up for success. And part of that comes by making sure that we are giving them everything they need. We're transferring the knowledge that we have. We're answering any questions. We're making sure that we are providing them that opportunity to know that it's okay to ask questions and find the answers. And certainly encouraging them to go out and get additional training. A lot of what we offer is readily available to our customers just for the asking and just for the going and getting it. The resource library, for example, has all sorts of documents on how to do things. So, work it into your overall plan. If you have staff meetings, make that a topic of conversation on your weekly staff meetings. What did you learn new this week? Or what are you struggling with this week? Or, hey, there's an upcoming Ask the Trainer class. How many of you would like to go to it? So constantly nurture that and help the employees see that it's okay and that you're wanting to help them, right?
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
it even goes, I said if you're not training and we kind of keep saying if you're not training your employee right, or it can help the employee, it even goes up to a, higher above that. If you as an owner or manager, to make sure you're taking all the proper training so that you can pass. Because if you're not taking the proper training, or you're not taking advantage of some of these calls that Jonathan said that you could have, you're not going to quite know your product as well. And if you don't know your product as well or what it can do, you can't pass that information to your employees. So it all starts from you as the owner or the manager to make sure you're going in, to the Q portal, watching any kind of videos, free videos that there is to know your product the best. Just like any of us, we probably order something online. We have to kind of read the directions or try to figure it out on your own. But can you imagine if you had a class offered to you, like, hey, this is how you use it, and this is all the extra features you get? Because there's sometimes you get a lot more from a product, and it can help you out a lot more if you know more about it. So yeah, I think it starts from the top and then trickles down.
So Orly, you just touched on something, and I'm gonna go there. I'm going to go there. So bear with me here. You said, even as an owner or a manager, there may be things that you can learn. The one thing that I hear so much, Jonathan, and I'll bet that you hear the very same thing. There are a number of proprietors that don't really look at the reports very often because they're just not familiar with all the reports that are available and the value of what those reports are going to help you. How you are able to go in and analyze your business, how you can keep your finger on the pulse of your business at all times. And that's one of those things that we just don't know what we just don't know, right? We may know those reports are there, but if you're not looking at those reports on a routine basis, or maybe you're just not real comfortable knowing where to go to find that report or how to pull that report, or even reading that report, right? Jonathan, you guys even talk to them about that. Then you're probably not getting the full value out of analyzing what's going on in your center.
Yeah, we train them on how to look at reports, how to read their reports. We have different services after the fact, where centers can, again, use their 2-hour call. But if that's not, enough time, we have resources. We have setup services for customers. We even have we're even offering consultation services to customers now, to where, they can spend the time with a trainer to deep dive and analyze those reports, look at the business from a past and what they want to get out of them in the future as well. So, but having the knowledge to look at your reports and being able to analyze your business, is critical for your business to be successful, just as having your staff trained, as soon as you know something or find something new in the system, sharing that knowledge and ensuring that their understanding of how to do that, especially if it's something in front of the customer that they need to know, ensuring that they have the ability to know that is important to, the success of the business and retaining your staff.
100%. And, I was working with a customer yesterday, and they are new to bowling. And for them to just be able to go through and look at all the different features and games and environments and stuff that are available and have a good understanding of how that game works or how that environment looks or whatever, and who is an appropriate audience for it. That's learning too. That's something that, and all those resources are available for the customer for free. You just got to go to the resource library and get what you need. But, those are valuable for all your employees to know what you have. And that goes also back to reporting. Are you getting full use out of your system that you have in place? What games are being used? What environments are being used? You have the ability to dissect all of that and look and see what is your most popular game, what is the most popular environment, and working things around those to optimize the utilization of your system, right? So those are all
Absolutely.
really great things that you can do, by just empowering your employees to go out and find what they need to help them deliver the level of service that you want. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much. We know that what you and your team does in delivering knowledge for our products and our systems is crucial in the overall success of the product to the customer. So we thank you for that, and your team for offering that service. So listeners, if you have any questions, certainly you can always leave us a comment. We hope that you will share this with your other employees. So we're found on all major podcast platforms. So thank you so much, listeners, for joining us today. And we look forward to you tuning in next week for another episode of Seeds of Success, as we equip you with more practical tips, ideas, and trends that will help your center grow and achieve new levels of success. Until next time, keep planting seeds, one happy customer at a time.